This is a driving review of VW's latest small SUV, the VW Taigo. What is it and what can it do? Let's find out. Let's go! Thomas here with Autogefühl, and the VW Taigo is actually a sister model of the VW Nivus that is already being sold in South America. They differ a little bit in some aspects, but they also have some same parts, of course. Here in the front you can see a modern design, honeycomb style in this style trim level car, because this trim level is called style. There's also an R-line available with a little sporty look. We had that in our studio episode in red. This color here today is called visual green. It is visual for sure. Headlamps come standard with LED, optional the IQ light, so matrix LED is even available here for this very segment. And depending on which trim you pick, it starts below 20,000 euros in Germany. If you go, higher trim, all the options and so on, biggest engine and so on, then you can land up something below 30,000 euros. So indeed, this is rather a car from the lineup which is more affordable. The length is at 4.27 meters or 168 inches. So that means 17 centimeters or 7 inches longer than the VW T-Cross. It's also a small SUV. And as for the seating position, this one here sits between Polo and T-Cross. So it's Polo, Taigo, T-Cross, as how high you go. So is it more crossover? Is it already an SUV? I'll leave that up to you. I would rather say crossover, right? Here also with crossover wheel arches, 17 to 19 inch wheels. These here are the biggest 19 inch wheels and style trim level, but you can also get here this black contrast here, for example, and also then the roof in black, and really some fresh, interesting colors. This color indeed is interesting. As for show off, it's nice. For everyday driving, maybe something else. And here you have this rather falling roofline, giving it more kind of like a already SUV coupe shape. MQB A0 is the platform. Again, that means sharing it with the Polo and the T-Cross both, and also with the Skoda and Seat siblings in this very segment. Here, modern light strip all the way across the vehicle, very beautiful and elegant design, and more crossover look in the lower part. And yeah, glad to find no fake exhaust here, but on the R-Line model, there the Autogefühl fake exhaust police had a major job. This is the car key, one of the classic ones, and yeah, good to have that one. Door closing sound. Okay, heard it better, but also heard it worse. Here at the inside of the doors, this is sadly hardback, and then, wow, this fitting to the exterior color, that interior. It's a really great idea. It's not my favorite color, but it's a great idea to have the fitting interior to the exterior. However, you can also go for a more subtle interior style. And I think these seats look really great. And again, if you want it more subtle, more on the black style, it's also available for the style trim. You can go for 3 different color options for the seats. The seats themselves, they already look comfortable, and I think a beautiful job they've done here with the fabric and also with the bright leather red. Steering wheel looks modern and fresh, and at the same time you still have the hard buttons here, left side for the cruise control and right side then to control the digital instruments. Good, they kept it with that. It's a small vehicle, but already offers you a very decent seating comfort, so that's the one thing I appreciate almost most. So especially here in these seats, the base seats are a little bit, less sophisticated, but they here are actually a little bit better already, and they've got side bolstering, and you feel like you would be in a bigger vehicle. And considering my size, 1.86 6'1", still enough headroom left. And once again, for such a size, rather small vehicle, great seating comfort. Interior overview with a simple layout. Steering wheel, by the way, up, down, in, out, easy process. Left side, you get 2 sizes of digital instruments. That's a little bit confusing actually. So it starts here with 8 inch and then optional 10.25 inch. And on the right side, 6.5, 8 inch, and then here the 9.2 inch, the biggest one. This one does not have any buttons left. The 8 inch one would have the volume knob and the zoom in, zoom out knob, so I would rather stick with the 8 inch one then. Once again, here this green decal element, you can also get it in the more subtle side that's possible. Infotainment system, this is the Apple CarPlay integration. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay both also wireless connection is possible. And also for the smaller screen, you can also get CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, by the way. Here, 300 watt Beats sound system is, yeah, really nice. So I think really good performance here for a sound system in a small vehicle. Then this is the main menu. Gladly, it's not the system you get in the VW Golf or in the ID3. This is a different one. It's a better one. It's not the best one. You see here, the map could also be more responsive, but overall, the overview of the whole menu structure and so on is more what you are used to from Volkswagen vehicles, and therefore it's definitely easier and simpler. When you have the 9.2 CPU, by the way, from this biggest touchscreen, oh, by the way, you can see here, the right one does not flick on camera, the left one does, but on the human eye, nothing flickers. So here, you can have the map both in the right and in the left side simultaneously. Not possible if you have the 8-inch screen on the right. Here we are with the digital instruments. This is the map view, but you can also have it full screen, that's possible, or then rather, the classic views and also have other contents in the middle. The lower part here, this climate unit is with the sliders. This is a Climatronic. This is an option. You do not have to go for it. It looks fancy for a capacitive BS unit. Hashtag capacitive BS. It's quite okay, but stick with the base function, then you still have the real dials, so they are a more clever choice. 2 USB-C chargers and low part, also inductive charging pad, by the way. And then we have this massive shifting lever here for the DSG, standard here for the 1.5 engine, but it's actually good. You have a very good feedback and it looks actually also quite modern, and why not having something you can really touch? And then your 2 cup holders, they are not adaptive though. And then the armrest, very well attached, nice leatherette cover, and underneath some more space. As for rear seating, well, they are using all the space they have, and when I would go a little bit more forward with the seats, I could also sit here, but yeah, when you have tall L's in the front, it gets close here. The back part of the seat is soft, however, but again, from the length there, it's just close because it's a small segment. Headroom-wise, however, is actually good, so they are using the space they have. It's just that the length does limit it at some point. 2 USB-C chargers here in the rear, by the way. In the middle part with the middle tunnel, you can hardly sit there. But what's really cool is that they also have the same seat setup here, so very high class as for the materials they use here for the whole fabrics and leatherette and so on. Now to the trunk area, which houses 438 liters. You can see here, really square dimensions, easily fits the cabin trolley in also here in the vertical way. Just as a proof, here, no problem at all. So that's really good. For most of the recent VW reviews, I've been hating about the infotainment system, and I would still do that. But here I can just praise again how practical this car is. 1 meter or 40 inches in width. Then here, the length, about 82 centimeters or 32 inches. And then here the height to the cover is 40 centimeters or 16 inches. And here, this is a really practical solution here. When you put this one here up, it holds tight like this. This is the replacement tire underneath. And they really have used this space very, very well. You can also fold the seats, and then you have even more space. And like this, and like this. Well, once again, price, performance, and also the space you get, really very good. And the length to the seat as I'm driving, 1 meter 55 in total, or 61 inches. As for engines, we have the 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo petrol with 150 horsepower, always connected to the 7-speed DSG dual clutch transmission. Cheaper entry versions work with the 1 liter 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine with 95 horsepower or 110 horsepower. The latter one then again optional with the DSG. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the VW Taigo 1.5 TSI. Let's put to that sports mode, see how this 150 horsepower can bring us on that German motorway from 45 kilometers an hour. Let's go. ...150 kilometers an hour. Yeah, I think that's shabby enough for this one. racings with the Taigo. Yay! Well, not too bad at acceleration. Of course, wind noise picking up right now, but considering for this segment, it's also not too bad. Here, also quite stable on the road. So suspension here is not adaptive in this segment here, not available. But still, good compromise. It feels very nice and agile on the road. Steering is crisp and agile and also has no dead zone area or something. And let's put to a normal autobahn speed. Let's say like around 20 kilometers an hour, like 70 miles an hour. Here also wind noise are somewhat okay. Of course, you have to consider the price and the segment. And it's really not an expensive vehicle. That's the good thing for that. And for that, even here the performance at high speed is really, really good. So that's one first nice aspect definitely about it. Also very good at how we can tune the brakes. Once again, going left and right. Very likable steering, and also with this new modern steering layout, that's good. And we still have the real hard buttons. That's also a good thing to have. For example, when I set the cruise control right here, I can set it here in the 1 kilometer steps or here in 10 kilometer steps with plus and minus. So easy to control. That's what we know actually still from Volkswagen. And yeah, the climate unit, you don't have to go for the Climatronic option as I told you in the interior parts, so stick with the base manual dials and then you'll also be fine off with that. Well, interior wise, not too much as for ambient lighting, a little bit here and here, but again, considering the segment, and also here for example, so a subtle note, I think that's overall good. And here with the digital instruments, this top setup here, I also have a good visualization and see what I'm actually doing here at the moment and now at 80 kilometers an hour. So motorway vehicle, although it's a rather small vehicle, good comfort also to this upright seating position, and also very good as for the overall seat ergonomics. So indeed, much you get here for not too much money, and also it's not much of a car, but you still get much of a car for it. You know what I mean? So that's from the motorway perspective. But what about the more agile driving performance? Let's find out more about that. Last comment here, assistance system, we also have a blind spot monitor. Well, we were too fast, no one overtook us yet, but it will be displayed here in the side mirror. So assistance systems wise, everything is working flawlessly as well. There it is, because the other car was approaching. Yes, still managed to show that. Now to some more agile driving. Fuel economy, by the way, something between 6 and 7 liters on 100 kilometers. So that's US MPG, some high 30s, and UK MPG more than 40, so 45 or something. Okay, acceptable, not too good, also not too bad, but for a vehicle of that size, it should be a little bit better. Now we have here windy roads, and they are also a little bit wet. You can see here, steering wheel actually still a good feeling. It's front wheel drive only, so maybe also heard that here in the sport mode where the RPMs are also a little bit pumped up, so when it's wet and you hammer the throttle, then you also have some traction loss in the front. But it's not that the car would get out of control or something. The ESC is controlling that very well. See here also in the S shifting mode where the gears are a very likable and agile driving feeling. This is a very cool thing. You sit rather upright in comparison to a normal small vehicle here in this crossover style or already SUV style, however you want to call it. Again, sitting between Polo and T-Cross height-wise, but already a lot of fun. So yes, also driving-wise, we can prove the initial point that this is one of the rare cars here on the market still where you get actually a lot what you've paid for. This is also driving-wise one of the very, very cool things. Now if you want to compare the VW T-Cross, we got a review of that one here. And of course also the recent Polo facelift, because these two are definitely relevant if you think about this one here.